All right, plenty to get through. So joining me now is former Speaker of the House, Bronwyn Bishop, and outgoing Liberal Senator Hollie Hughes. Great to see you both. Well, Hollie, it's been a week of chaos, the divorce on, back off again. What is going on with the coalition and what's the future for the coalition, Hollie?
Look, I think we'll see a resolution to this issue sooner rather than later. I think it's important to note that it is highly unusual and has never occurred before policy positions being put into a coalition agreement. So if this was to go ahead, I think that would be a new precedent, and I don't think it's one Liberal Party rooms taking forward should necessarily embrace too tightly. I think David Littleproud's been found out a number of times this week, but particularly in the fact that he did not give to his own party room the full story when it came to his demands around cabinet solidarity and the request that his shadow ministers would be able to not abide by that. And I think Mr Littleproud is going to have some very open discussions with his own party room regardless of the result. Also, I think if there is to be a reconciliation after a mediation process, for those of us that have been through these sort of splits in our personal life, that there are rules around whether or not, if there is a change to the leadership within the National Party, that this is then not reopened for negotiation, that this is a beginning of term issue, not one that's revisited every time there might be a change.
So, Bronwyn,
the National Party.
So, Bronwyn, doesn't sound desperately reassuring. This sounds like a kind of married couple who have decided to separate, but they're, no love there from Hollie. It doesn't sound towards David Littleproud. Now, Bronwyn, we were here last week on this desk, and you said the coalition would not split. They'd been together for 80 years, and that apart from a couple of minor things along the way, but that this union was absolutely rock solid. Were you shocked by what happened this week, and can it be repaired?
Of course it can. And what I said before is it will remain. This is just a hiccup along the way. It's been there before. In fact, I was looking at what happened after the 1978 Rand slide in New South Wales, when I think the Liberals ended up with 18 seats and the Nationals 17. And there was a lot of argy-bargy went on, not dissimilar to what's happening now. And at the end of the day, they need each other and they know it.
Nifty Nev, haven't heard Nifty mentioned for a while. Those were the days. Hollie, just tell us, what does this say about the leadership of both Sussan Ley and David Littleproud, that within a week of the leadership being announced on both of them winning their leadership positions, within 1 week the coalition has blown to pieces and then struggling to come back together and hopefully will remain together, but we shall see. What does this say about the leadership of both those individuals?
Well, I mean, as you just alluded, I think I was pretty clear with regards to David Littleproud's leadership. I think he is the person that, in effect, walked away from the coalition agreement. It was not Sussan Ley that did so. No one really understand his urgency in doing so earlier this week. I don't think Sussan's put a foot wrong. I think the way she has convened, and as I say, I'm outgoing. So, this is a matter for the new party room and for them to work through. But she has convened meetings yesterday, today, has consulted widely with her colleagues, been incredibly upfront with her colleagues. And I think that she has done everything she can to keep the Liberal side together, to help us work through a solution that the Liberal Party room can go forward with. This has never been about values, the nitpicking over specific policies. I think when it gets down to it, it's about David Littleproud, his leadership, the challenge from that canavan and the discussions that they have in their party room around net zero that probably led to the reaction that we got from David Littleproud. I have every confidence in Sussan's leadership. The Nationals, it's a matter for them.